Nicole Trujillo, Com 101, my audience. So today I'm going to start off by telling a story. A parent asked their child as they come home from school one day a question that probably parents all across the world ask their children. How was your day? And what did you learn today? With this child's upcoming week consisting of statewide testing all week, which was strongly enforced by their teacher, the child's answer was really disturbing. We did nothing today, Mom. The teacher told us to grab a book of our liking, put our head down, and read, and write in our journal if we wanted. We didn't go over any of the math lessons that we needed to be prepared for next week's testing because an incident broke out during class involving many of the students. So she spent most of the day speaking to each student privately, which took up most of the day. After that, each student was called down to the office individually, one by one. Today, I'm here and hoping to convince you that the Clark County School District should share accountability with the parents of these children's behaviors. There are undeserving students there that are indirectly being affected by this disruption. The story that I mentioned earlier is actually one of my own personal experience. My daughter's 6+ years in this district thus far has often brought her to a situation where her learning experience has been less than subpar. And it isn't because of the quality of teachers that we have. It's because of what these teachers have to go through on a daily basis with these disruptive students. So today I hope to speak to everybody. I'm going to speak to everybody about the effects of these behaviors, the effects of the behavior that these students have, and how essentially teachers are backed into a wall. I'm going to lay my proposed plan to remedy the problem, and that will help, hopefully, to begin to solve the problem without much more effort or work from the school district's part than what they're already doing for this problem area. The majority of the focus is on school staff with handling behavioral problems and handling them correctly, and that the students' rights are not being infringed upon. But reality is that moral guidance and learned behavior, the majority, if not all of the responsibility, lies on the parents, not anybody else. Disruptions that are not serious enough to cause parent-teacher conferences often are not communicated to parents. And although they're called minimal incidents or minor disruptions, these are major disruptions for the learning process for a lot of the students in the class. Many students don't learn as easily as others, and so they're at a huge disadvantage when these situations do occur. According to Elaine Lancaster, who's the president of the Union of Nevada State Education Association, during a pre-session poll, noticed that 70% of the teachers polled pledged that the number one issue that they were facing was disruptive students. As parents, we send our children to the public school system to be taught by professional educators in areas of which we are not proficient in. But essentially half of the time they're spent following module procedures on how to handle behavioral students. According to Neil Morton from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, entering the 17 to 18 school year, there was a ratio of 33 students per one teacher for elementary school. And these ratios go even higher for middle school and for high school. District G trustee Aaron Craner at the time was quoted as to saying that the potential of actual learning time being hinged upon is weighing heavily on him. And so we have to ask the question, with all the scrutiny being put on teachers on handling these students appropriately and adequately, where does that leave the quality of education that these other students that are there doing the right thing? Where's the quality of education that they're getting? So with the objective of aiding these educators in doing their job, the Clark County School District should extend accountability to the parents for the behavior of these students. They should impose a minimal fee of $3.75 when a student reaches a maximum of 3 disruptions in 1 month. Now, the goal is not to make this punishment about the amount of money being asked for, but rather about having the nuisance of having to do it at all, as it could easily be prevented. Under the meal charge procedures for the Clark County School District, when a student accrues more than $6.75 in school balance, a plan is put in motion where weekly letters are sent, followed by automated phone calls, and lastly, by personal phone calls from the central office. In my proposed plan, I would suggest something similar. Weekly fine notices, and if and when these fines are not paid, they will be followed by phone calls, both automated and from live people. Whenever lines of communication are added between parents and school staff, the outcome is always positive. It'll take into account those cases where there's a lack of interest from the parents or a lack of time from the parents. And it will at least initiate a dialogue between the students and the parents. All over the country and even the world, there's similar programs that are already put in place, such as to target the problem with attendance. The implementation of all these programs and the continuation of the programs speaks to the success of this methodology. According to The Guardian, who sifted through the education laws of the 50 states, they noted that 40 of the states have a similar program and fine parents, habitual truant offenders, fines of anywhere from $20 to $1,500. They impose court fees or short-term imprisonment. According to the Department for Education in the United Kingdom, in an effort to aid attendance problems, they've raised the level of the fines and they shorten the time that these parents have to pay for it. And so some may say it's unfair to tax these parents who may be going through financial problems as it is. But who's to say that the time that they're taking away from both these students and these teachers is any less worthy than when a student damages property on a school bus and they're fined? So others may also say that this type of problem won't fix all problems. And while it won't fix or deter all students from misbehaving, if at least one student it'll benefit if at least one student comes home and dialogue is initiated and at home, it'll subsequently deter them from behaving that way in the future. So practically speaking, my proposed remedy won't take any more time than what the school district is already doing to fix this problem. The monetary aspect of it is low enough to be affordable, but enough for it to be a nuisance and create dialogue between parents and children. In 2013, the Clark County School District, they sponsored a program essentially to help parents raise children. These sessions were divided into 2-hour weekly sessions. And so the time and effort that it took to create these workshops and create these videos and create these sessions shows that the Clark County School District has a strong desire for parents to be positively involved with their students. And so in comparison to programs like that, the implementation of my proposal, the time it would take would be very minimal. According to a survey done by T. Rowe Price, an asset management firm, the average parent spends about $422 on a holiday wish list for kids. In comparison to that, $3.75 is minimal, and probably it'll have more of a long-lasting effect than any toy could ever have. So we have seen how disastrous the effects of these behaviored students have on teachers who sought out to do something positive and to teach well. And we see the effects that they have on students that are there to learn and want to learn and are unable to do it. We see how effortless this plan can be, and in comparison to other things that are already in motion, it doesn't take much more time. I personally long for a day where I don't have to sit with my daughter and try and teach her the new state of the art division method that they're teaching these days. And rather than mumbling through it with me, I would rather it be taught by a teacher the proper way. And like my daughter, there's many other students who wake up day in and day out and deserve the chance to have quality education. And teachers deserve to go to school and do what they have to do rather than discipline students on matters that should be taught at home. Thank you.